Morning students, this is your teacher Neela Mehlawat and I hope you are enjoying your studies while sitting at home. Isn't it dear? Yes, but dear students, keep yourself safe, your family safe and take all precautions, okay, so that you can be well and healthy at home. And at the same time, keep revising your lessons, okay, keep revising your lessons so that you can get good marks in your exams. Right, everyone? And I hope you are inquisitive about your exams also. Right? Okay. So let's start with today's chapter. That is your chapter number 8, Human Health and Disease. And this is a lecture number 4, dear students. We'll continue in the further modules. We have talked about the immunity, isn't it? We have talked about the immunity. Now today we'll talk about further, that is active and passive immunity. Now we can further categorize your immunity into active and passive. I hope you remember, dear students, what is your immunity? Okay, tell me what is immunity then. What is immunity, dear students? Immunity means the ability to fight with various microorganisms or microbes that enter in your body. Okay, the ability to fight with various microorganisms, that your disease causing microorganisms that may disturb your health and may lead to some disease. So there is a system in your body which is called your immune system, and that immune system fights with various microorganisms and keep you healthy. So immunity means the ability to fight with various infections or the infecting agents. Right, everyone? Now your immunity can be of two types. We can categorize into two types. One is active, another is passive immunity. Okay, so there are two types of immunity, active and passive. Right? Let's talk about each of them in detail. We'll talk about what it is active immunity, what is you can say passive immunity. Now first of all, active immunity. What is active immunity? So this active immunity is, can you tell me, dear students? Hanji, can you tell me? Okay, let me tell you. Now suppose the human beings or us, our body, when we are exposed to a number of antigens, see daily in our body, number of antigens, number of microbes they are entering, right? And they may be in the form of dead microbes, they may be in the form of other proteins. So our body produces antibodies against them. Yes, we have talked about it. Yes. So our body produces the antibodies, and these antibodies, they fight with the infection. So this kind of immunity is called the active immunity. Right? This kind of immunity is called active immunity when we are exposed to antigens. And because of the exposure to antigens, our body produces antibodies. So this kind of immunity is called active immunity. And this immunity process is slow and it takes time to give its full effectiveness. Means जो ये process है ये थोड़ा सा slow होता है और थोड़ा slow response आता है. Clear? Then what are the reasons of active immunity? As I told you, that when we inject something, suppose we have injected a dead microbe in your body. Okay, so during immunization, you must have heard, yesterday we have spoken about the immunization. Do you know what is immunization? What does that word immunization means? Immunization means, आपने बच्चों को देखा पोलियो की दवा पिलाते हैं? Yes. So same way, when we give certain injections to the body, so we are inserting microbes, maybe in the form of dead or there are some proteins. So when they enter in our body will produce, initiate our immune system, and our body will start making antibodies. So this is how active immunity can be induced. Okay, so when a microbe enters in our body, this microbe is identified by your B and T lymphocytes. Okay, microbes will enter your body, and the microbes, they will identify it as B and T lymphocyte, identify your B and T lymphocytes as antigen, and then our body will produce antibodies which are specific to that antigen. And these antibodies, they will fight with or they act against the antigens and provide our immune response. And that is how our active immune system works. Second is your passive immunity. Okay, second is your passive immunity. In this case, and what do we do in passive immunity? In this case, we have a ready-made antibodies. Okay, we have ready-made antibodies. Okay, so we have ready-made antibodies, and we directly inject into the body when a person suffers from that particular disease. So this is called your passive immunity. So we can say in case of passive immunity, our body is not making the antibodies. Okay, the antibodies, they are provided from the outside. Clear? They are provided from the outside. And this process, since our body is not involved in the process of making antibodies, so this process is quick and it does not take time to show the response. Okay, ये process जो है quick होता है और immune response आने में ज़्यादा time नहीं लगता है. ठीक है? So जब हम ready-made antibodies को inject करते हैं, so they fight with the pathogens. Clear? They will fight with the pathogens. So antibodies against the specific antigen, they are directly introduced into the bloodstream, into your body, and that will give the you can say that will fight with your antigen and will provide the immune response. Okay, so this response is very, very quick. Okay, so in this case, since your antibodies, they are directly injected, so your cells, the B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, which are responsible for the antibodies, they are not involved in this process. So क्योंकि आपकी body में बाहर से antibodies inject कर रही हैं, so B lymphocytes or T lymphocytes, they do not participate in this process. The best example of your passive immunity is that when you are very small, isn't it? When you are born, when you are very small, you drink your mother's milk, and that mother's milk contains colostrum. Colostrum is a yellow colored fluid, dear ones. It is a yellow colored fluid and it contains the antibodies immunoglobulin A. Okay, it contains the antibodies immunoglobulin A, and these antibodies, they fight with various infections to protect your infant in the mother's body. Okay, clear? And in meantime, some of the you can say antibodies, the fetus also receives some of the antibodies through the placenta. So colostrum, which contains immunoglobulins A, will provide the antibodies, immunoglobulin A antibodies to the growing fetus. So passive, in case of passive, the response comes very, very fast. Your T and B lymphocytes, they are not involved. In active immunity, the body prepares the antibodies, so the response is slow and T and B lymphocytes are involved. Coming to the vaccination. Okay, vaccination. Now this vaccination is based on a single concept. What is a single concept? See students, whatever happens in a body, suppose a pathogen enters in a body, suppose let it this is your pathogen. So when it enters the body, right, the body will fight against the antigen. Okay, and the antigen will be killed or it will be made inactive. So some of the cells in our body that are called memory cells, they will remember this incident. Okay, they will remember this incident, and second time when this pathogen will enter, so they will fight with increased vigor with this antigen. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम जब ये एंटीजन आपकी बॉडी में एंटर करेगा, तो आपकी बॉडी को ये याद होगा कि ये फर्स्ट भी आया हुआ है और वो इसके साथ और तेज़ी से फाइट करेगा. ठीक है. सो वैक्सीनेशन का जो प्रिंसिपल है वो इसी बात पर बेस्ड है कि दैट वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग मेमोरी टू आवर बॉडी. ओके, सो इन बेसिकली वैक्सीनेशन मीन्स we provide memory to our immune system. How do we do it? In this case, what we do, dear students, an inactive pathogen or a weak pathogen is injected into the body. Okay, how do we do it? Inactive pathogen or weak pathogen is injected into the body. Okay, तो हम क्या करते हैं, अपनी बॉडी में एक वीक पैथोजन को या एक इनएक्टिव पैथोजन को बॉडी में इंड्यूस करते हैं. So your immune system, it becomes active. First it will identify the antigen and then it will start preparing the antibodies. Okay, then it will start preparing the antibodies and it will kill the antigen. Although the antigen is already inactivated, but our body will also kill it. Clear? And this incident the body will remember. Okay, this will be remembered by our body. So next time when this antigen will enter, so this vaccine will generate the memory T and B cells. Okay, memory T and B cells means वो इस incident को record कर लेंगे और अपने पास memory में store कर लेंगे. So next time when this pathogen enters your body, so first time तो हमने आपकी body में ये pathogen induce किया है. Next time ये pathogen किसी भी form में, पानी के through, food के through अगर आपकी body में enter कर जाता है, so obviously your body will identify it and it will remember that incident and it will fight with increased ability. Okay, it will fight with increased ability. So we try to, with the help of the vaccination, we try to provide a memory to the immune system. Okay, clear everyone? Right, and I hope this is called your passive immunization also. The very simple example is snake bite. अगर हमें कोई snake काट लेता है तो हम अपनी बॉडी में क्या करते हैं, डॉक्टर्स आपकी बॉडी में जो है ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड एंटीबॉडीज़ को इंजेक्ट करते हैं. ठीक है, दे इंजेक्ट द ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर एंटीबॉडीज़ इन योर बॉडी एंड यू आर प्रिवेंटेड फ्रॉम द स्नेक वेनम. क्लियर? यू आर प्रिवेंटेड फ्रॉम द snake venom. Clear? Then apart from this, the recombinant DNA technology. Okay, recombinant DNA technology is used, and the production of, right, it is involved in the production of antigenic antibody polypeptides of pathogens in bacteria and yeast. So recombinant DNA technology is used to prepare or to allow the production of antigenic polypeptides of pathogen in bacteria and yeast, and then vaccines will be produced using this approach. Okay, this will be involved in the production of vaccine. So example is hepatitis B vaccine, which is produced from the yeast. Now coming to the next concept, which is called immunization. Okay, immunization. हम बीमारी होने से पहले ही अपनी बॉडी को एबल करते हैं सो दैट इट कैन फाइट विद वेरियस इन्फेक्शंस. ठीक है, तो हम इम्यूनाइज करते हैं अपने आप को, जहाँ एक पर्सन को इम्यून सिस्टम को ऑलरेडी एक्टिवेट कर दिया जाता है सो दैट वो पर्टिकुलर डिजीज से फाइट कर सके. सो वैक्सीन दी जाती है आपकी बॉडी को, राइट? सो वी कैन हैव एक्टिव इम्यूनाइजेशन, वी कैन हैव पैसिव इम्यूनाइजेशन, as I've discussed just a few minutes before. Okay, active immunization will be very slow, passive immunization will be quick, fast, where we are giving the preformed antibodies. As I was saying you that in case of snake bite, we are already giving the prepared antibodies against the snake venom. Now coming to the next topic, that is allergies. See, when you go, sometimes you experience that when you go to a new place, you suddenly start sneezing, you suddenly start wheezing, and there is no unexplained reason. And suddenly when you go away from that place, after a few days when you are back from that particular place, the symptoms will disappear. Did this happen to you? Has it ever been happened to you? Okay. See, some of us are very sensitive to particles in the environment. Okay, some of us, they are very sensitive to the particles in the environment. Okay, let's start with next. So allergy can be defined as a hypersensitivity disorder of immune system. Okay, it is a hypersensitivity disorder of the immune system in which your immune system response get exaggerated. Okay, it gets increased to certain antigens, and those certain antigens and those substances which induce this reaction, they are called allergens. And these could be your dust particles, the pollen grains, or some animal waste. Okay, so in response to certain particular substance, your immune system gives a increased response to that particular substance. And in case of allergy, your immunoglobulins E is secreted. What is secreted? Immunoglobulins E. Okay, we have spoken that there are 5 types of antibodies. So here E type of antibodies, they are released. Clear? Now the various symptoms of the allergic reactions are, first you can have sneezing, you can have watery eyes, running nose, or is a difficulty in breathing. So these are all symptoms of your allergic reactions. Now why this happens? Why we have allergies? Because in that particular environment, there is certain release, our body releases certain chemicals like histamine and serotonin from the mast cells. So there are some cells that are called mast cells in your body, and they start producing histamine and serotonin. Okay, when you are exposed to or when you are injected with small doses of possible allergens. Now same method can be used as a diagnosis also. How can we categorize this? So what we do, we select certain allergens, right? We try to identify the allergen. What we do, we select some antigens, you can say allergens, and then we induce a small quantity of these allergens into the body of the person. So when we inject into it, and then we see whether reaction, whether there are some symptoms of allergy or not. Okay, clear? तो हम क्या करते हैं कि हम एक लिस्ट बनाते हैं allergens की. While we are talking to the patient, we will make a list of the allergens, and then we slowly induce the allergens into the body to know which allergen is causing that allergy, right? And then we prescribe a particular drug to the patient, and that drug is antihistamine, adrenaline, and steroids, and they quickly reduce the symptoms of the allergy. The only thing is, we all know, dear students, that prevention is always better than cure. So if we know that a particular substance we are allergic to, so in that case we should leave, or we should avoid that particular environment where allergy can occur. Clear? So we should live in a protected environment, and that will lower immunity, and thus the people who are more sensitive to a particular environment, particular allergen like dust, so they should avoid going in such areas where dust particles are more, where chances of pollution is more. Okay, so this could be the best, you can say, protection. Now let's come to the next, that is called autoimmunity. Autoimmunity में क्या होता है students, कि आपकी body, आपका immune system, okay, your immune system, it starts destroying your own cells. Okay, ये अपने ही cells को destroy करना शुरू कर देता है, right? Autoimmunity क्या है कि हमारा immune system हमारी body के cells को identify नहीं कर पाता that these cells, they belong to our own body, and starts identifying them as foreign organisms, and starts destroying them, and starts attacking those cells, right? And this particular disease is called an autoimmune disease. And the important example, the best example is rheumatoid arthritis. You can see I've shown some symptoms here, some pictures. You can look into the symptoms. See, initially you will find this kind of allergy which is there on the hands. Swelling is observed. Then this and this. The later stages of rheumatoid arthritis. So it is your autoimmune disease. Okay, it is your autoimmune disease, means in this particular disease, your immune system, it starts destroying your own cells, because the immune system identify the cells as foreign particles. Okay, clear? Now coming to immune system. What is our immune system made up of? We are continuously talking about the system, right? So what is this system is made up of? So this system is basically, this consists of biological structure, processes within the organism that helps to fight any disease. and that helps to distinguish between the self and the non-self components, and always remembers it, creates a memory of that interaction. So your immune system, it basically comprises of your lymphoid organs, the tissues and cells, and your antibodies. So we can categorize the immune components of immune system in three types, in three basic structures. First is lymphoid organs, second is tissues, and third is antibodies. Okay, third is antibodies. And your immune system is very important because it identifies the foreign antigens and then responds to them and remembers the interaction. Then what are these functions? It helps to fight with various infecting agents. Clear? It plays a role in allergic reactions. It plays a role in autoimmune diseases and also plays an important role in organ transplantation. Now coming to the first component, that is your lymphoid organs. Okay, lymphoid organs, these are the organs where origin or the maturation of lymphocytes occur. तो ये आपके वो organs हैं जहाँ पर आपके lymphocytes mature करते हैं. So you have a primary lymphoid organ, then you have a secondary lymphoid organ. Primary lymphoid organs are your bone marrow and thymus. ये जो दो आपके organs हैं, ये आपके primary lymphoid organs हैं, जहाँ that are your bone marrow and thymus, जहाँ immature lymphocytes जो हैं वो differentiate होते हैं into mature lymphocytes. Okay, here the immature lymphocytes, they will differentiate to form sensitive lymphocytes. Okay, clear? Second है हमारे secondary lymphoid organs. The secondary lymphoid organs, they consist your spleen, lymph nodes, tonsils, your Peyer's patches which are present in the small intestine and the appendix. Now they constitute your secondary lymphoid organs. Let's look up in the diagram. See, all your lymphoid organs, they have been indicated. Tonsils, you see here, they are here. Then thymus, lymph node, lymphatic vessels, spleen, Peyer's patches, appendix and bone marrow. So all they are indicated in diagram. So these all constitute your lymphoid organs. Okay, they are all your lymphoid organs. Next is, what are the functions of lymphoid organs? Okay, what are the functions? How does your lymphoid organs, they function? Clear? So bone marrow and the thymus, they are your primary lymphoid organs. So we can write bone marrow and second is your thymus. So these are your primary lymphoid organs. और यहाँ पर क्या होता है? आपकी डेवलपमेंट एंड मैचुरेशन ऑफ टी सेल्स. सो यहाँ आपके टी सेल्स जो हैं वो डेवलप भी करेंगे और मैच्योर भी करेंगे. दे विल डेवलप एंड मैच्योर. ओके, दे विल डेवलप एंड मैच्योर. Maturation of T lymphocytes will occur. Now bone marrow, here all blood cells are formed. Bone marrow में आपके सभी blood cells बनाए जाते हैं, including your lymphocytes. Now जो thymus है, it is present near the heart. Just I've shown you the location. Just look at the thymus. See, it is the thymus, right? So thymus is present near the heart. Okay, it is present near the heart, below the breastbone. Clear? Now generally it is larger at birth. जब आप पैदा होते हैं तो its size is bigger and then slowly its size decreases as with your age. Clear? And at puberty it reduces to a very small size. Third is your spleen. Now spleen is pear shaped. Have you seen spleen? Let's see the spleen. Where is spleen? It is here, right? So spleen, it is pear shaped. Okay, it is pear shaped and contain lymphocytes and phagocytes. So ये दो cells को, it is having two cells, lymphocytes and phagocytes. And most important, it filters the blood by trapping the blood-borne microorganisms. तो ये आपके blood को भी filter करती है, जिससे अगर by chance आपके blood में कोई microorganism है, so that it can remove, right? And this spleen also is a reservoir of your RBCs, that is your erythrocytes. Now lymph nodes, as I have shown you, they are small solid structures which are present in the lymphatic system. You can see the lymph nodes. Have you seen this? See, these are lymph nodes. So lymph nodes, they are dot-like structures. Everywhere they are shown with dot-like structures. And they trap the microorganisms that enter the lymph. तो ये आपके microorganisms को trap कर लेते हैं जो lymph में मौजूद होते हैं and lymphocytes को activate करते हैं. तो आपके जो lymph nodes हैं, they have two functions. First, they trap the microorganisms present in lymph and then they activate the lymphocytes. Then is your lymphoid tissue. Okay, now lymphoid tissue is present in your respiratory system, digestive system, urogenital system. Okay, and all tissues, they are associated with mucosal associated lymphoid tissue, which is called MALT. Okay, and it is 50% of the total lymphoid tissue. So आपका mucosal associated lymphoid tissue constitutes 50% of the total lymphoid tissue. Now let's come to your homework, dear students. First of all, you'll make notes of this topic. Then you will read minutely the page numbers 150 to 153. Okay, you will go through those pages, and if there is any doubt, anything that you want to discuss, you can discuss with me on my personal number, right? Okay, that's all for today. Bye everyone.